Hello, my name is LaToya, and I'm with Because I'm a Nurse. I help nurses find balance, support, and motivation so that they live their best nurse lives. Today we have Camille Diaz with us. She is a speaker, a connector, and a financial professional who helps empower people and provides them with knowledge and resources. So we are super excited that she's here with us today. Today we're going to talk a little bit about money. Specifically, people are getting the stimulus checks and maybe getting bonuses or have a little bit of extra money because of the coronavirus crisis. So we decided to talk about what could you do with $500 extra, or if you had $1,000 extra dollars, what would be a good place to start with making that money work for you? So that is what we're going to talk about today.
Awesome. Thank you, LaToya. I appreciate you having me on. This is great. Yeah. So first thing I would tell people, if you're going to get money from stimulus or if it's from work some overtime, hazard pay, whatever, that kind of stuff, few hundred, maybe a couple thousand extra dollars coming in, make your plan before the money hits your bank account. Because once that money hits your bank account, it is really hard to make a decision about what to do with it. You're like, I'm going shopping, and it's over, right?
I'm definitely going shopping with mine.
That's right, exactly.
Yeah.
But that might not be what you really want to do with it, and you might feel some, buyer's remorse when you get home with all your bags, and a couple weeks later, you're like, I'm not even wearing that sweater or whatever, right?
Yeah.
So make the plan before you start, and then, of course, stick to the plan when the money shows up. And I know that's hard. But stick to the plan. If you are not in crisis mode being, I need to pay rent, I need to keep my lights on, I have to buy food, these are the other options of things to do with the money. Obviously, if you're in crisis mode, you got to take care of the stuff you got to take care of first. First thing I would say is decide on a percentage that you're going to spend on something fun. Because whenever we get that bump of money, we want to do something fun with it. And if you're just super restricted and responsible with the whole thing, you're probably going to feel like, all I did was pay down debt or something. I got all this money and I didn't have any fun with it. I didn't enjoy it. You're not going to get the reward for having that, extra bump that you got. So first off, decide, okay, 5%, 10%, whatever it is. If you get $1,000, spend $100 on something you like. If that's, eating at a restaurant or movies or whatever. I mean, everything's all different now because we can't go anywhere. So maybe it's shopping on Amazon and making sure it all comes to your house tomorrow,
Right.
Whatever it is, do something that you enjoy with a percentage of it. So write that percentage down. Okay, I'm going to take 5%, spend it on something for myself.
Yeah.
After that, I would say pay off high interest debt. So if you have credit card debt, something like that, that's got a higher interest rate, let's get that paid off, okay? Drop it on as much as you can, because if you're buying your lifestyle at 15, 20, 25%, you're never going to come out ahead in your saving for the future.
Exactly.
Okay. After that, either start or replenish your emergency savings. We're always hearing the importance of having emergency savings, 3, 6, 12 months saved up, depending on how stable your job is and if you're self-employed and so forth. We now know that nobody's job is stable, even if you're not self-employed.
Yeah.
So 6 to 12 months is really a great thing to aim for as far as having money saved up in that emergency fund. You never really know when your car is going to break down, when that tree limb's going to fall on your roof and you got to get a new roof, whatever it is, you roll your ankle, you got to go to the emergency room, there's always that copay or something that you need. So having that emergency fund prevents you from having to run up a bunch of extra debt when that situation occurs. So if you don't have one, start one. Mm-hmm. If you do have one, put a little extra in there.
Okay, so if you don't have one,
yes,
and you're going to start one,
yes,
what things would you put in there? I heard about repairs, medical bills, and car, and of course, rent or mortgage. What other things would you include in your emergency fund?
Right. So base it on your current expenses, because you need that, say, let's go with 6 months of living expenses saved up in case something happens and you can't go to work and you need to live off that money. So that's kind of a good number just to do the math to figure out what should I put in there. If you're a business owner and all your money is contingent on your business, make that 12 months.
Yes.
Just right off the bat, you need 12 months. And then things you're going to use it for are going to be emergencies. We're not going to use that money because I see boots on sale and I need them. You know, I mean, I want to, but no. That money is going to go in there. You're going to forget that it's there until you have a true emergency, an injury, a major repair that happens. You know, your refrigerator breaks and you have to buy a new one, or all your food's going to spoil. You know, that kind of thing. Actual emergency. Ideally, your emergency fund has money in it, and you're adding to it some amount every month, because we know things will happen.
Yes.
Okay? Stuff happens. It just does.
Every
so
day.
in case stuff happens, you want to be ready. So you're every month budget a little money to go to that fund, and then when something really gets out of control, you say, that's okay. I have money on the side. I can use that now. And then you're continually replenishing it. Okay? Yeah. So I know that takes a lot of discipline and so forth, but everybody right now who isn't working and had money in the bank to live on is really glad they had money in the bank.
Yes.
It's like a warm blanket. Everybody who did not have money in the bank is really stressed out right now because they're not working and they didn't have money in the bank. So we all know that emergency fund is important. So when you get that extra money, stick it in there. You'll thank yourself later. Future you will be grateful to current you. All right. Once you've got the debt paid off, emergency funds handled, now we're going to start thinking about our future. So put some money aside for your retirement. You can borrow money to buy a car, to buy a house, to go to school, to start a business. No one will loan you money to retire and sit on your front porch.
Exactly.
Nobody is loaning you money for that. There's no program to pay for that except for Social Security, assuming it's still there when you get to the point of needing it or qualifying for it. If, and most likely it won't be enough. For most people that I talk to, that bit that they get is not enough and has to be supplemented by something. Waiting just a few years to start saving for your future can lead to thousands of dollars less in retirement. Just putting that on hold, saying, well, I can't really right now.
Yeah.
It's going to make thousands of dollars of difference in the future.
And people are living much, much longer than they used to. And I've seen some people that I've taken care of that actually ran out of money, ran out of retirement, and you do not want to be in that position.
Yes, it happens.
And
it's really scary because you're probably going to run out at age 80-something or 90-something. And then how are you going to be capable of going and getting a job?
Yeah.
And the only job you can probably get is going to be the one you're fighting the teenager for, you know, to make sandwiches or whatever, you know, clean something. It's going to be rough.
Yeah, really. It's like when
It's
you
gonna
need
be
the
rough.
most help is when you'll run out, and
That is not what we want. That is not what we want.
Yeah.
That's one of the things I specialize in, is that guaranteed lifetime income, so that I can help people make sure they do not run out. Because I never want to see that. I don't want to have somebody, do I buy medication, do I buy food?
Yeah, and it comes down to that sometimes.
It does. I've heard stories of it happening. So we definitely don't want that situation. So let's get started saving.
Awesome.
You know, save something. It is not how much you save. It's the habit of saving that makes the difference. So even if you're only putting a little bit away each month, when you start to see it grow in a year or two, all of a sudden you're going to get excited and you're going to be like, oh, my pile is getting bigger.
Yeah.
And then you're going to be motivated and you're going to find more ways to add to that pile. So it's worth it to put something in. And if you can jumpstart it with a bonus or something like that, that you're getting a stimulus, whatever, great. It's an even bigger pile and it'll grow a little bit faster. Okay? All right. Once you've got that going, then start saving for other goals. Maybe you want a bigger house, or you're saving for your kid's college fund, you want to take a trip, put some into that. Now remember, we already portioned out how much we're going to spend on fun, and then we're going to portion out how much we're going to spend on something else. Okay? Most importantly, don't start spending before you get it.
That part.
This is hard.
Yeah.
I know I have $1,200 coming. I'm going to get this and this and this, and then the $1,200 comes and you accidentally spent $2,000.
Exactly. I have so much stuff in my Amazon basket right now.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
Oh,
Just
we all
waiting.
do.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not just you. So wait until the money hits your account before you spend it.
Good idea.
It's I know you want to. You're like, I know it's coming. I know I'm going to get it. But it's almost like being in a place where you make commission and you think, I know I have that big commission coming from that sale I just made, and then the client changes their mind.
Yeah.
Now there's no commission. And now you already bought a $500 thing.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh,
Now you're committed
now
to this
I'm
thing.
negative $500. You know, that's not good when you thought you were going to be plus 1,000, right? So wait to spend the money until you actually have the money in your account. Now we can spend it. Okay. Kind of my last thing is develop a relationship with a financial professional now. Start early. Okay, it's almost like that concept of, you know, when you get into a relationship with a boyfriend or a spouse or whatever, if you get with them early before you make it, then you know you got married to them because they loved you.
Yeah,
and
not
if
for
you,
your money.
Not for your money, exactly. Same thing
it.
for the financial professional. Find somebody now who can kind of help you with this stuff, coach you through it. You know, you can ask questions, and they're helping you. So if you hit it big later, when you hit it big later, right? Whatever it is, you already have somebody that you trust. And maybe you have 2 or 3 people that you trust that you can talk to, bounce ideas off of, get help from, that kind of thing. So you're not struggling to figure out, okay, my business took off, I made $200,000 this year, how do I invest? And all of a sudden, everybody wants a piece of what you have. You want to know you've got people that you've already vetted and you already feel comfortable with.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's what I got.
That is awesome. So I just want to go back to one point. So
Yes.
we said make a plan. And so making a plan, I think, would be like having like a budget, right?
Sort of, yeah. So making a plan is going to be having a budget or just writing something down. A plan in your head is not really a plan because we're really good at changing the plan in our head. We're like,
Yes.
oh, I got a plan. I'm going to put, you know, half of it aside. And then the money comes and you're like, oh, well, I was only going to put 30% aside, you know, which is change the plan on the fly, right? To match what we suddenly want on impulse.
Yeah.
So instead of doing that, it's make the plan, write it out. And I like to do it by percentages because if you might not know exactly how much money you're going to receive. You're not sure how much is my bonus going to be, how much is my stimulus going to be, how much is my overtime pay, whatever. So say 10% is going to go for fun stuff. Another 40% is going to go in my emergency fund, and I'm going to use the other 50% to save for a trip that I want to take. So you're writing it out in percentages, and that way whatever amount you get, it's really easy to figure out what to do with it. If you do a budget for $1,000 and you only get $750, now you have to cut something.
Yes.
And you're like, oh, I don't want to cut anything, right? Yeah, so we have a struggle. So if you do it by percents, then you just do the math and it's simple.
Yeah, no matter how much you get. Awesome.
right.
And then what kind of pointers would you have for like sticking to the plan?
Oh gosh, okay. So if you have some accountability partners, that's going to be probably your best bet. Is you got to tell someone else, other than writing it down, where you can go back and look at it and see it to hold yourself accountable. You need someone else that will hold you accountable.
Yeah.
And not the person in your life that's the enabler that says, oh, no, you need the... No, not the one that talks you into all the fun stuff and out of all the responsible stuff.
Yes.
You need the one that you're like, I kind of don't like her. Because she is the one that will actually tell you the truth and tell you to stick with it and not let you get away with screwing up your own plan because she really cares about you.
Yeah, see,
Okay.
that's your good friend right there.
That's your good friend right there. That's right. Yes.
Awesome. And then the final
Yes.
question. So as far as like work-life balance, what is
Sure.
one tip that you would have for how you achieve your work-life balance?
Yes. So balance is an interesting concept because we always think that we can do everything in perfect harmony. It doesn't really work like that because life.
Yes.
Right? Okay. So what I have done, and I promised my husband that I would do this, therefore it's being reinforced. I have an accountability partner, was to schedule myself breaks. So I have scheduled in Friday at 3, I'm done. And I'm off for the rest of the night, and that's our family time.
Nice.
And then I am required to have one other day per week that I do 0 work. None whatsoever. 1 day a week, no work, no appointments, no calls, no answering emails, none.
I like it.
Because I am one of those people that is very devoted, focused. If I get on a project, I am in that project. You cannot tear me away. I might forget to eat. I may not take a shower. Like, it's not pretty. I'm in the project.
Yeah.
So I have a required break, take off from it so that I know that I will still see my family, still do that other stuff. Also, I know this is a second tip. It's not just one tip because I cannot just give one tip. Keep a calendar. Stick to the calendar. I do what's on my calendar.
That's a good plan to have.
So if my calendar says workout, I'm working out. If my calendar says eat lunch, I go eat lunch. If my calendar says you're done for the night, I'm done for the night. Whatever's on my calendar runs my life.
Yeah,
so
there's no question of what you have to do and when you have to do it because
that's right.
It's pre-planned.
It's pre-planned. It
yeah.
also stops you from putting too much stuff in one day.
Yeah.
You can only fit what actually fits on the little calendar. Yeah. And I use a Google Calendar, free online thing. Well, there's only so many hours. I can't overlap. If I overlap the appointment's no good.
Yeah,
right?
You're not going to make it. Yeah.
Right. So I will schedule my planning time. Like if I'm doing an event and I need to prep my presentation, I will schedule the time to do the presentation, like prep work. And that's in my calendar. So I can't schedule too many events because I have to prepare for them. Nice. So all of the things I need to do go in the calendar and then I follow it. If I lost it, I'd be wandering the streets with nothing to do. I'd have no idea what was happening. It would be not pretty. So that's how I kind of achieve that balance of making sure I'm still doing other things in my life besides just working or just project or just whatever, you know, or just playing.
Yes.
When the calendar says work, I go to work. So I have to do that piece too. Yeah. Otherwise, I might just be off doing fun stuff all the time, which I actually really enjoy my work. So it's kind of fun stuff too.
Yeah, that's always a blessing.
It is. It really is. Yeah. But it keeps me on track.
Awesome. And Camille, where can they find you?
Absolutely, yeah. So my business website is serenityfinancial.us, so people can find me on there. Mm-hmm. I just launched a podcast, which is available at moneyheartshow.com, so people can find me on there. And then if you just want to kind of know what I'm up to, CamilleDiaz.com is my sort of general page that talks about all the stuff that I do.
Well, thank you so much, Camille, for being here. We have so much valuable information. I know this is really going to help you guys. So
You're very welcome, and thank you for having me. This was a lot of fun.
Yay.